アルフィータイム It's アルフィータイムやったーやったー
Yeah! 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 Yeah!
Hey yo. Welcome to episode 33 of the Decent Wrestling Show. Make sure to like, comment, share and subscribe, and check out my latest video, which was the WrestleMania 21 Retro Review. There'll be more MVs coming soon. I'm working on a big batch of like 25 of them, so once they start coming they won't stop for a little while, but that will be coming soon. Also check out my friend on YouTube, S3V3N, and on Twitter at Saray4Champ. Great dude, go give him a follow. And enjoy the show. So we had the sad news come in at the start of Monday Night Raw this week, as unfortunately Scott Hall, aka Razor Ramon, passed away at the age of 63 years old. He had 3 heart attacks after a hip surgery, I believe. And unfortunately he did not kick out at 2 this time. Bad guy, bad times don't last, but bad guys too. That's been cemented everywhere, and for good reason, because it's a beautiful line from Scott at his Hall of Fame speech, and I'm so glad he got to have that Hall of Fame speech and got to be inducted twice on his own and with the NWO. He definitely deserved it. And as I believe Kevin Nash said on Instagram, he wasn't perfect, but he was, he was a damn good dude, and a legend of the business. One of the best Intercontinental champions of all time for sure. Had so many classic memories and matches, and from all accounts he was one of the smartest minds in the business. He had his demons, but at the end of the day I believe he was a good man. And it's just a shame that he had to go, only 60, in his early 60s, too young. Rest in peace, Scott Hall. You'll live on forever. NXT 2.0 and NXT UK. Another great episode of NXT 2.0 as per usual. The opening match was Wendy Choo teaming with Dakota Kai in the semi-finals of the Dusty Classic, taking on the team of Raquel Gonzalez and Cora Jade. It was a good match, a solid opener from all 4 here. They all worked really well together. I thought Cora had a great performance in this match. She was probably the standout for me in this match, but in the end, the winner of the match was Wendy Choo and Dakota Kai. A big win for them. Very happy for them to go to the finals, and I don't think they'll win it, but it should be interesting nonetheless. Tommaso Ciampa backstage cut another awesome promo as per usual. Just a great fire in his voice, and then he obviously threw the chair back at the garage door, as he usually does at the end of his fire promos. We then had Tiffany Stratton backstage as Saray was creeping. She was looking at Tiffany. And then Tiffany had a match against Fallon Henley. I think it's Fallon Henley, I think is the name. And they had a okay match, I guess. It did win a couple of minutes, was fine. Nothing out of this world. In the end, though, Saray, there was a bit of smoke on the outside, which distracted Tiffany. And Saray attacked Tiffany Stratton from behind, which led to the victory for Fallon. A surprise victory for them. And next week they will have a match, obviously Saray versus Tiffany Stratton. Andre Chase backstage, very funny as he usually is. Just literally anyone asks a question to him and he just goes absolutely saying, "You motherfucker, you piece of," all that from someone else asked the question. Any more questions? He's very entertaining. We then had another barber segment with Mello and Trick Williams, and solid promo from both these. They're very cool, and they announced that there will be 4 other people in the ladder match, so it will be a 5-way ladder match, and in it there will also be qualifying matches to get in the ladder match, which should be pretty fun. We then had, next was a segment with Lashing Out with Lash Legend. So Lashing Out with Lash Legend had Nikita Lyons on the show, and yeah, Nikita Lyons, her proportions are just absolutely insane, and I hope she kicks Lash's ass, and I think she has a good future for her, Nikita Lyons. She's very beautiful, she's got a good charm, good amount of charisma, and from what we've seen in her first match, she's pretty decent in the ring, so she could have a very bright future if she keeps at it. And just good goddamn. Then we found out that Creed brothers were attacked backstage, so their match with Imperium was off, but instead MSK would take their place. But first up, LA Knight took on Grayson Waller, and they had a great match. I gave it 3 3/4. Very good match, nice brawl and a nice last man standing match. LA Knight was super over as a babyface, and Waller was super over as a heel. You just love to see it. At one point, Waller went through the table on the outside, which was very cool. But in the end, after there was also a cool moment with Sanga. So Waller got thrown off like a top of like a, I don't know how you say it, a high place. He got thrown off a high place, let's just say that. And it was found out that Sanga actually caught him, so he was safe. LA Knight then hit Sanga on the back with a chair, had no effect, and just a really cool moment with Sanga choke slamming LA Knight on the apron. Just a really nice moment there. But eventually he was handcuffed around the ring post. And to win the match, Grayson Waller, went to the top rope and hit an elbow drop, a beautiful big elbow drop through the announce table. Looked absolutely hella cool. And he then, well, he still couldn't really stand up, so he kind of like leant on Sanga, who then stood up on and got Waller up. So Waller won in the most douchebag way possible. Just amazing. Oh, so fucking good. So good. Yeah, great match, and Grayson Waller is probably my favourite person in NXT 2.0. Poor Brooks Jensen again getting made fun of by Legado del Fantasma. Oh, you just can't help but root for the guy. Bless him, bless him. We then had Bron Breakker cutting a promo backstage, and a very good promo, probably his best promo he's ever cut. Very good stuff there. And then Tony D'Angelo, who has a plan for Stand and Deliver. We'll see where that is soon. Then we had Casey Catanzaro teaming up with Caden Carter to take on Kelly Air and Io Shirai. Great match, 3 3/4, much better than I had any right to be. Casey and Caden are actually really great, to be honest. And they have made me a fan in this tournament. 2 great performances from them in this tournament, so props to them. In the end, though, Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai picked up the W, and yeah, great match. And give me Casey versus Io in a singles match, please. So next week, it was also set up that Persia Pirotta will take on Indy Hartwell next week to see who's the better woman in the team. And then, of course, we've got Tiffany Stratton versus Saray. And Santos Escobar versus Cameron Grimes in a qualifying match for the ladder match at Stand Deliver, which should also be a really great match. And there's one more match to announce, and that is that A-Kid is coming to NXT. Hell yes, a great acquisition for NXT 2.0, and he'll debut next week against Kushida, which, if given time, should be a hell of a match. MSK took on Imperium, 3 1/4 stars. It was a good match, only went about 5 minutes before it was broken up by the Creed brothers, who absolutely killed both teams. Like, really great attack from them. So that's going to set up some sort of multi-tag match at Stand Deliver, which should be good. Main event, Bron Breakker, Dolph Ziggler versus Tommaso Ciampa. I gave it 4 1/4 stars. Absolutely insanely good match. Absolutely insanely good match. Just so many great moments on this. Bron Breakker hit a brutal spear on Ziggler again. Lots of great near falls. There was at one point Ziggler, Ciampa hit a fairy tale ending, then Ziggler threw Ciampa out of the ring, and that moment was so epic because I genuinely thought the title was switching hands there, but it didn't. But then Bobby Roode got involved, and he pulled Bron Breakker out of the ring for Ziggler to hit a super kick on Tommaso Ciampa, which ended in the winner being Dolph Ziggler. That's right, just when you think you have everything sorted out, you know everything, good old DZ comes in and switches the game up. Brilliant moment, huge moment for Dolph Ziggler. He is your new NXT champion. Wow, I did not see that coming, but I'm glad it happened. Let's go DZ. I expect he'll lose the title to Braun and Stand and Deliver, but it'll be fun while it lasts. NXT UK, just in a quick rundown of what happened. Wild Boar returned after a Symbiosis fine squash match. We also set up some singles matches between Tyler Bate and Oliver Carter and Trent Seven and Ashton Smith. Roderick Strong will be coming to NXT UK to take on Wolfgang next week, which should be hella fun. And two great matches took place. Charlie Dempsey took on A-Kid, and Noam Dar took on Joe Coffey. Both gave them 4 stars. Charlie Dempsey is just such a wonderful performer in the ring. Everything he does is so smooth and perfect. And I didn't like the interference at the end, but Charlie Dempsey picks up the victory. Big moment for him, and a terrific match. And then Noam Dar and Joe Coffey had an excellent British Rounds match. And it could have gone either way. Great near falls, great tension and drama. In the end, Noam Dar picked up the W. Hugely happy for him. And yeah, great stuff. Smackdown. We kicked off with Brock Lesnar. Screw the crowd for chanting what in its promo. Honestly, just get yourselves over somewhere else, morons. Paul Heyman came out, taunted Brock Lesnar, but said that Roman Reigns was not here tonight. No Roman, Alfie sad. Brock Lesnar said there's no one to protect you, Paul. Then went running after Paul. Paul, run, Paul. I've never seen Paul Heyman run so fast. He got out of there. Brock Lesnar then beat up some backstage people, but just missed out on Paul Heyman, who escaped in a car. Brock Lesnar is very angry. Very, very angry. We then had the debut of Pete Dunne on the main roster. One big positive and one big negative. The negative is that his name is Butch. Butch. I would have taken Pete Butch, to be honest. Pete Butch would have been fine, but just Butch? Nah. But in positive news, he is with Ridge Holland and Sheamus. Sounds like a pretty badass faction to me. Hopefully the Fight Night Crew, or whatever they're going to be called, dominate SmackDown, because those 3 guys look very good as a team. They took on New Day, Big E and Kofi Kingston, and it was a good match. W for the Fight Night Crew, and unfortunately, however, there was one sad moment. There was a belly-to-belly suplex from Ridge Holland on the outside, and it just looked like a bit of miscommunication from E and Ridge. Mess-ups happen, and Big E landed straight on his head and broke his neck. So he's going to be out for a while. Hopefully a speedy recovery. You know, a broken neck sounds like career ending, but like a year out. It's only 3 or 4 months, I think. Some people can come back from that. Depends how strong his neck is, and hopefully he's back in the ring very soon. It's a shame, but you know, pro wrestling. Hey, it ain't ballerina, is it? Get well soon, E. And to me, it does really feel like Stone Cold Steve Austin will face Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Obviously, it needs to be some no DQ match with Smoke and Mirrors, but it should be fun, and I hope it does happen. Some great storyline between Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. Sami Zayn got Johnny Knoxville's number and was basically stalking him, and some of the tweets, some of the messages he was sending, and he put out on Twitter these messages that he was sending. So great. He's like, I'm going to fret my revenge, and then like the asterisk, gret my revenge, and like he spelled like it wrong 3 times, so he put and then finally got it right. Comedy gold. Sami Zayn is amazing. But in return, Johnny Knoxville put out Sami Zayn's phone number on a banner and flew it across Los Angeles, and so Sami Zayn got 11,000 phone calls and messages. Hilarious. Oh, it's so good. This storyline is unironically becoming great. Amazing stuff there. Drew McIntyre came out and his entrance was fire as usual, like the flame on the sword in the 3D graphics syncing with the ring flames. Hell yeah, looked cool as hell. Such a badass. But the segment he beat up, so the Happy Crew with Mahal and Shanky tried to beat up Drew, but Drew in the end stood tall as Corbin ran away. Fine segment. Big pop for Ronda Rousey. She had a segment with Charlotte, and I just hope Ronda absolutely destroys Charlotte. They then had a brawl backstage in the parking lot where Charlotte left Ronda laying. Sasha Banks and some other person had a tag match and won against Shayna Baszler and Natalya. It was fine. It looks like we'll be getting the Usos taking on Nakamura and Rick Boogs at WrestleMania, as we had one of the Usos take on Rick Boogs. Don't know how you really spell it, if it's a S or a Z. But Rick Boogs picked up the victory in a very impressive performance. His best match he's had on the main roster. Very good stuff from him. Could be a fun match at WrestleMania. Pat McAfee beat up Austin Theory, and they treated it like a shoot, so he was kicked off commentary for the rest of the night. But really awesome segment. Pat McAfee and Austin Theory. I'm super pumped for that match now. A very good segment to get me invested in that. And then the main event was Ricochet taking on Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. 3 3/4, a great match. And Ricochet main eventing the show and picking up the W. You love to see it. Some great wrestling between these two. There was like a suplex into a Hurricanrana from Ricochet, which looked awesome. And in the end, he picked up the win with a 630 splash. Great performance, and I hope Ricochet continues a great Intercontinental Championship run. Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw opened with a nice tribute for Scott Hall. The bad guy legacy, of course, as I said earlier, will live on forever. We opened with a Kevin Owens promo, and he did a nice tribute, starting with the "Hey Yo" catchphrase to begin the show. Really nice, beautiful moment. He then had a great promo on Stone Cold, a great fiery promo, and ended it by stunning the cameraman, who deserved it in my opinion. We then had Damian Priest take on Finn Balor in a pretty decent match. I gave it 3 stars. Solid stuff. Austin Theory was out there and interfered and attacked Finn Balor after Priest won via distraction. Clearly setting up, I guess, Priest and Balor at Mania, and maybe Theory will be Balor's next challenger after Mania, I expect. Hoping we get Demon Finn at Mania would be very cool. Seth has an idea and will reveal it later on. But before that, we had Omos taking on Commander Aziz. I gave it 2 3/4. It's actually a pretty fun match. A bit too short. Wish it got a bit longer. But for what it was fun to see 2 big dudes just fight it out. And that is Omos' last good match that we can have, unless he takes on Veer at WrestleMania. Veer versus Omos would be pretty cool. Go on, Veer. He's still coming to Raw, by the way. Still coming to Raw. Liv Morgan took on Zelina Vega. Decent little match. I gave it 2 1/4 stars. It was fine. Liv picked up the win after a distraction from Carmella. Looking like we're leading to a Zelina and Mella split incoming. Seth Rollins came out, and his plan was to have his own talk show with Stone Cold as the guest. Kevin Owens was unhappy with this. But then Seth had another idea. Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens tonight, and the winner gets the talk show at WrestleMania with Stone Cold. It's a pretty good segment, and no Cody in this, which was good. We then had the Mysterios take on the Hurt Business. 2.5 stars, a bit too short, but Ray was absolutely phenomenal here. But the focus was really on Mysterios versus Logan Paul and Miz feud. Edge then came out as a full-on heel. Here's new epic heel music from Alter Bridge. His heel music sounds very cool. It was much needed change. Metalingus is of course the better song, but for this new aesthetic he's going for, I think he needed something new, and this definitely suits it very well. He continued to have the lighting, the dark lighting. He looks like a witcher. But he cut another epic promo. He's just so brilliant, and he's gone full on heel, and I'm loving it. Terrific promo, and AJ Styles will be on Raw next week. Bianca Belair took on Doudrop again. Definitely the Raw Women's division needs more people on the roster. But Bianca won in a pretty decent match, gave it 3 stars. And after attack, a vicious attack from Becky Lynch on Bianca Belair. Trapping her hair in a chair and then pushing her into the ring post. Brutal stuff. We then had an RK Bro celebration as Randy threw a party for Riddle. The funniest moment was Riddle going, "Randy, you remembered my birthday. It's in 10 months. That old Viper mind." Fucking great. Oh, they're so entertaining. And the Street Profits came out, and they had a really good segment. I like Riddle getting angry at the Profits for mocking Orton's party, which is actually a really nice touch. When Randy turns on Riddle, it's going to be such a sad moment. But it looks like we'd be getting RK Bro versus Street Profits at Mania. And we had Riddle versus Montez Ford next. I gave it 3 stars. It was a good match, but the Alpha Academy ruined it and got involved. And it looks like it'll be a 3-way at Mania. Gable definitely deserves a Mania match for his hard work since coming to Raw. We then had a very nice tribute package for Scott Hall, and you could hear the sadness in the voices of Jimmy, Byron, and especially Corey. You could hear how much it hit them. And just a beautiful, well done video package on the legend that is Razor Ramon / Scott Hall. Absolute true legend of the business. The main event was Kevin Owens taking on Seth frickin' Rollins. They had a phenomenal match. I give it 3 3/4. Great stuff. These two have great chemistry with each other. And of course they're going to put on a banger. Great back and forth. Could have gone either way. But in the end, Kevin Owens picked up the win. And he will continue to have his talk show at WrestleMania with Stone Cold. And we'll see what happens with Seth Rollins next week. It looks like Cody will be debuting next week. Unfortunately, I hope not. But yeah, pretty fun episode of Monday Night Raw. Stardom. Stardom held their New Blood show on the 11th of March at Shinagawa Intercity Hall. And it was a solid show. Nothing out of this world, but solid enough. We opened with Momo Kogo defeating Sayaka in 8 minutes, in which was a fine match. Sayaka doesn't look great with long hair, with short hair, by the way. But that's besides the point. She had a good performance, one iffy moment in the middle, but other than that, a pretty solid match, and Momo Kogo picks up the W here. Then we had Ai Huzan and Maria defeating Unagi and Waka. Waka deserves so much better than this. She's over already. She's very popular, especially with overseas fans. And she's improving so much and is one of the most charismatic people on the roster. And she's treated like this. Just ridiculous. Mai Sakurai and Maria took on Lady C and Sai Kamatani. Went to a 15-minute time limit draw. I skipped it. Hanan and Saida teamed up Wingori, taking on Oi and Tomoka Inaba. Oi did a pretty cool dance before the match, and this was match of the night. I gave it 3.5 stars. Very solid tag team match, and it's great to see Macho Gori-chan and Saida back in a wrestling ring. Then we had Ruaka and Starlight Kid taking on Haruka Umasaki and Nanami. I skipped it. And then the main event was Utami taking on the new rookie Miyu Amasaki. Of course Utami won, but a great performance from Miyu Amasaki. She really shined in this match, and she's got a bright future. The one thing that annoyed me is on the one of the follow-up shows, Miyu Amasaki picked up her first win. Not on her own, but as in the winning team, which means she got a win quicker than Waka and Lady C. Just absolutely, just so dumb. So they pass over Waka and treat her like they treat all the Cosmic Angels awfully, like a complete afterthought, even though these are clearly, if pushed, would be the most popular people on the roster. So you're just shooting yourself in the foot by losing money here. It just makes no sense whatsoever, and Cosmic Angels deserves better. Quick Ice Ribbon review from the 26th of February show, Reborn. There was 6 matches that took place. The opener was Sayori Anu teaming with Totoro to take on Yukari Hasegawa, the former Rin Yo-Yo, and Yuki Mashiro. Great team there, Yukari and Mashiro. 3 stars. Good match, solid opener. I like the team of Yukari and Mashiro, and I'm not the biggest Totoro fan, but Sayori is great. And yeah, solid opener, nice way to start the show. We then had Nao Ishikawa teaming with Rina Amakura to take on Cherry and Kiku, the over 40-year-olds team. And yeah, 3¼ stars. I really enjoyed this match. A very good performance from Nao Ishikawa. She really shined in this match and showed that she is the future of Ice Ribbon. Well, she needs to step up because half the Ice Ribbon roster is gone now. But yeah, good performance from her, and I'm happy that she picked up the win. We then had Maya Yukihi, Ram Kaichou, and Saran, the 12-year-old, teaming against Bani Oikawa, Yappy, and Yuko Sakurai. 2½ stars, weakest match of the night. It wasn't bad or anything, but it was just okay. Yappy stood out with some nice offense. It did get a bit worse near the end, but she did have some nice power offense, which looked very good. But in the end, Saran picked up the W over Yappy. Big win for Saran. When you're pushing a 12-year-old, you know that your company's in trouble. But she's got some good future on her, I think. Galaxy Punch, with their amazingly fun entrance as usual, took on Asashi and Kaho Matsushita. 3½ stars, a surprisingly very good match. I enjoyed the team of KO and Asashi. I think KO is actually very talented, and Galaxy Punch are great as usual, and they picked up the win. But yeah, very good match, better than it had any right to be. The semi-final was the Hoshi, Ibuki Hoshi and Hamako Hoshi, teaming to take on Makoto and Tsukasa Fujimoto. Nowhere near as good as I thought it would be, but still very good match. I gave it 3½ stars. Solid stuff. I didn't really like the team of Makoto and Tsukasa. I didn't think they worked well as a team. They both great individually, but as a team just didn't really click for me. But Ibuki Hoshi had another standout performance, a great performance from her. In the end, though, Hamako Hoshi picked up the win for her team. Didn't understand that. But very good match nonetheless. Then the main event was Tsukushi Haruka defending her title against Maika Ozaki. 4 stars, a great speed versus power match. Just solid wrestling throughout. And Tsukushi picked up the victory after a nice back and forth with some great near falls in there as well. And another great defense for Tsukushi in this excellent title run, which will be coming to an end in May with her retirement. But she's got Saki next in the next big match, and hopefully she'll have one more match. I don't know who she'll face in her final match. Hopefully it's someone good. But overall, solid show. Nothing out of this world, but yeah, very easy to watch and enjoyable. Thank you as always for listening to the Decent Wrestling Show. Make sure again to like, comment, share and subscribe, and arrivederci.